Presenting to you
the interactive space for critical and objective open thinking.
Floating in Space with MartianUFO. Produced by MartianUFO Media. The best podcast on air with your hearty host. Catch episodes weekly on Apple and Spotify podcasts.
Hello everybody, it is MartianUFO. We're floating in space as always, and just to start, man, I hope everybody's doing well. It's Friday, July 17th. We're having a nice little cloudy overcast day. I kind of like it. The humidity's not too bad, and yeah, man, I hope everybody's just doing well. So the topic for today, some of y'all might have heard about it already, and some might not have. This is huge, guys. This is something that's crazy, especially with what's coming around the news that's being released right now about certain companies, and then talking about scandals and change and conspiracy theories. Yeah, this is a huge one. We're going to speak about the Wayfair Scandal. Tell you what the Wayfair Scandal is about. So there is a claim or a conspiracy theory, and I'm gonna be careful because, see, this is the thing about when you talk about stuff like this, you can't act as if it's real or as if it's not real, because you know there's claims out coming now that all of the evidence has been disputed, it's not real, things like this. But then I'm gonna speak on that in the later on in the podcast. But right now, so one of these titles says that the Wayfair CEO run a children's foundation while furnishing migrant camps. And what that really means is that, I'll tell you who runs Wayfair. Wayfair, if you don't know what it is, they're like Ashley's. They're like the brick. They store furniture, appliances, home stuff basically. And they're ran by Steve Conine and Niraj Shah. Those are the two guys that run Wayfair. And Niraj Shah also runs a children's foundation, family foundation. They do, education, healthcare, and community living for marginalized families, single-parent families, mothers, kids, things like this. And the claim is that Wayfair is running a front that traffics underage children, and while also taking the children from his foundation or whatever, stocking up children there that he can plug from at any time, which sounds crazy, right? Like the things that I'm saying, yeah, you gotta bear with me. I'm gonna tell you where all the information came from, the sources, things like this. But it's interesting that Wayfair provides all the furniture for the ICE camps where the detainees and the children stay in the States, wherever these camps are, or detention centers. And you know that there are reports of some of these children going missing from the centers and things like this. Not that I'm trying to link anything, but yeah, just saying it's a little suspicious. Why would they provide the furniture? I mean, yeah, it's just connections and things like that. But so there was a group on Reddit. I think the group's name is QAnon or something like that. There's also a claim that this group, they claim that there's a war right now, a far-right conspiracy theory, that there's a secret plot by the deep state who are running a war against President Trump and his supporters, so the Republicans basically. And I guess you would say that his opponents are the Democrats, who I guess have members of the deep state. But by no means is any of this real or corroborated information. I'm just talking about it. I'm talking about what I think about it afterwards, and you can go look into it for yourself. whether you believe it or not, whether you believe it's a hoax, you know, I'm just, yeah, it's crazy that this would come out. But anyways, so on Reddit, there were claims in the community that a user, I can't remember the Reddit user's name, he was on Wayfair.com and he started pointing out how different cabinets and different rugs and different mattresses, any kind of stuff like that, right? Certain ones were priced extraordinarily high compared to the other ones. So a well-known activist tweeted about the high price of storage cabinets being sold by online retailer Wayfair. The user pointed out that the cabinets were all listed with girls' names, prompting followers to allege that the pieces of furniture actually had children hidden in them as part of a supposed child trafficking ring. So the tweet gained some initial action, and let's look into this some more. So there's a search, not a Google site. It's called Yandex search. It's a Russian search site or whatever, search engine. And people were claiming that if you take the SKUs, stock keeping unit numbers for specific Wayfair products, like a cabinet that's $99,999. I mean, and it has a girl's name like Samara or something like that. But anyways, they would take that SKU, put it into Yandex, and if you typed in the letters, I think SCCUR, something like that, a picture of an underage female would appear, which would kind of, you know, again, tying into how suspicious, just how weird this all is. Why is this happening? Why would the cabinet? Because, you know, when this happened, Wayfair immediately, they took down all of these items. You couldn't find any of these items, took down everything that had a female's name on it and was priced extraordinarily high. And then their excuse was that the items were priced accordingly because they were meant for business or commercial use, and then some of them are like, you know, fireproof and things like this. But think about this, guys. Think about the fact that anytime a supposed conspiracy theory has come out, some of them are actually true. Think about who controls the media, who controls how information is released and spread to us. Think about the fact that when you go and you watch the news and things like this, certain things are talked about, certain things are not, certain things are filtered, certain things aren't. You know, the fact that anybody that goes in front of a camera to speak on a certain issue, when they're a reporter or they speak for like a newscast media group or a company, they were groomed before they got on camera. They were told what to say. They were given a script a little bit. Like, you know, there's certain things that the media sees and that, you know, they aren't releasing information about. You know that, what was it? I'm going to bring in an example. I was watching a video by Michael Rappaport one day, and he was talking about The Last Dance. And for people to remember the fact that although this is supposed to be a documentary and things like this, that it's a movie, it's a film, that certain things made it into the movie and certain things did not, that they edited it, right? That it might not be the truth, the whole truth, and things like this. They have teams that can come behind Wayfair's scandal and fix it, put out the right information, and to delete information, certainly, like, you know, who controls what's shown on the internet? Our internet. You think that it's free, open internet? You know, you think when you turn on CNN, BCC, I think, right? BBC? No. BBC. What else? ABC News, NBC, any of these news networks. Even the ones in Canada, Chat. What else we got? I can't remember. Anyways, they're all putting out certain information while there's certain information that isn't being told to us. So I'm just saying that whether you believe it or not, there are certain links, certain ties to how it all ties together with why Wayfair provides the furniture for the ICE detention facilities, how the SKUs could even, you know, result in images of females and things like this. And yeah, we're gonna keep on reading on those. So there's an idea that this is actually true in real life, because there was a movie that was made in let's see here, it's called Soylent Green, if I'm not mistaken. This movie is called Soylent Green, and it's set in 2022. The movie was released in 1973, in the 70s, if you guys would want to go watch it. But basically the whole plot of this movie, it's a futuristic type of dystopian type plot, whatever. Something in the movie here, it literally says so. In the year 2022, the cumulative effects of overpopulation, pollution, and some apparent climate catastrophe have caused severe worldwide shortages of food, water, and housing. There are 40 million people in New York City alone, where only the city's elite can afford spacious apartments, clean water, and natural food, and even then at horrendously high prices. So the homes of the elite usually include concubines, and who are referred to as furniture and serve the tenants as slaves. And if you don't know what concubines are, let's see. So pay specific attention to when it says that they're referred to as furniture. And I think I went and I watched the trailer for this movie. You can watch the trailer for Soylent Green. In it says that the female, so it's a female concubine, literally means like second wife. I don't want to use the word slave, but mistress, things like this. You know, imagine the elite. A guy has a wife already, or he might not have a wife or a family, things like this. But this woman is like another woman in his home who was there for his liking, whatever. And yes, it says here that they serve as slaves. And so if they're furniture, it means that they're to a little less degree or quality. And then there's another word, they say that they're part of the building, which means that this female is there all the time. She does not leave the building. If she's furniture, it means that she can go with the rich elite person and be handed out to his friends and things like that. Crazy. I'm not going to speak too much about that, but just the link between that it's been spoken about, and I'm gonna talk about another thing, the concubinage itself. So I think I was having a conversation with somebody about the fact that this is all coming up now since the Jeffrey Epstein scandal, which I might speak about in the future. There's been a lot more information about child trafficking rings, child trafficking, the Pornhubs, trafficking children. This isn't just a little bit of information that's coming out about it, or different scandals that are coming out. So here, I'm gonna give you concubinage because this is important. This used to happen in history, way before our time, way before our civilization, sometime around the 1500s, the 1600s, 1700s. You can say that, it's wrong, and it's whatever. I believe that it's wrong, certainly, but I'm just saying, right? The information shows, if you go and you research and you read this shit, it says that in this time, different things were accepted that aren't accepted now. You understand what I'm saying? So, concubinage is an interpersonal and sexual relationship between a man and a woman in which the couple are not and cannot be married. The inability to marry may be due to multiple factors, such as differences in social rank status and existing marriage, religious or professional prohibitions, or a lack of recognition by appropriate authorities. What do you think that means? Meaning there's a discrepancy in the age. You get it? The woman in such a relationship is referred to as a concubine. A concubine among polygamous, polygynous peoples is a secondary wife, usually of inferior rank. Concubines have existed in all cultures, though the prevalence of concubinage and the status of rights and expectations of a concubine have varied somewhat, as have the rights of children of the concubine. Whatever the status and rights of the concubine, they were always inferior to those of the wife, and typically neither she nor her children had rights of inheritance, which means that when people talk about abuse and things like this, certain things being accepted back then, there was no crime for abuse back in this time. right? If you had a woman being abused or her children being abused in any way, this was accepted. Based upon what I'm reading here, concubines have existed in all cultures and in the different cultures, in Asia, Vikings. And I'm going to speak about my kind of background, because certain people that know me or whatever, if people ask where I'm from and things like this, I say that I was born in Egypt. I have certain ties to Egyptian culture and things like this. But let me keep on reading here. Especially among royalty and nobility, the woman in such relationships was commonly described as a mistress. The children of such relationships were counted as illegitimate, and in some societies were barred from inheriting the father's title or estates, even in the absence of legitimate heirs. You see, continue going on. So this is where it gets into my my background. So the ancient Egyptians. So way back. While most ancient Egyptians were monogamous, a male pharaoh would have had other lesser wives and concubines in addition to the great royal wife. And think about, the great elite, the people who are really the rich elite, the people who we don't know about. I can't speak about it, and you can't speak about it because you don't know, and I don't know what they do in their free time, where they go, how they travel. We don't and can't track them. Remember that, right? If they believe a certain thing, if they worship a certain way, you don't know about it because their movements aren't tracked by the media, the government, and they have enough money to certainly conduct their business privately and however they like to do so. So, a male pharaoh would have had other lesser wives and concubines in addition to the great royal wife. This arrangement would allow the pharaoh to enter into diplomatic marriages with the daughters of his allies, meaning, I don't know what ages they were. It doesn't say here that they were of legal age. Did they have a legal age at the time? That back in this time that there was discrepancy in age, even now in different countries, not including North America and South America, certain places where they allow this for sure. And it's could be a crime, could not be a crime, could be a crime in their country, and it still happens anyway, And you can go and research and study different countries if you really care about that stuff to see. And if you feel so strongly about it, like someone as myself, you have to understand that this is a huge battle, because there are people who are conducting it behind, closed doors, underneath the books, who certainly want it to happen. And then people who are on the front lines of fighting it, trying to fight corporations like Pornhub and Wayfair, and I guess there are reports that Amazon might be doing something similar and things like this, right? And then fighting with the country, not even fighting, the countries who allow it, right? The countries who we really don't know about. You got to study their laws and what they allow, what they don't allow. I don't want to really speak about the Middle East countries, but that the laws there are not the same for men as they are for women in some of these countries. So, you know what I'm saying? Let's see. As was the custom of ancient kings, concubinage was a common occupation for women in ancient Egypt, especially for talented women. Whatever talents they had, I'm not sure. So a request for 40 concubines by Amenhotep. I don't know if I said that right. This is 1386 to 1353 BCE before Christ, to a man named Milkilu, prince of Gezer, states, "Behold, I have sent you Hanya, the commissioner of the archers, with merchandise in order to have beautiful concubines, i.e. weavers, silver, gold garments, all sorts of precious stones, chairs of ebony, as well as all good things worth 160 Devon," I guess it's their currency at the time. In total, 40 concubines. The price of every concubine is 40 of silver. Therefore, send very beautiful concubines without blemish. So he's paying, if you can understand the wording there, he's paying 40 pieces of silver, I guess, for each of these 40 women. So they were valuable. Anyways, concubines would be kept in the pharaoh's harem. And if you know what harem means, harem, people who practice harems nowadays, harems in North America are typically, I don't know if they're illegal or not, but a harem typically means, polygamy, one man with many different types of women, or different girlfriends, a number of wives, and they could be all ages. I don't know, right? When we watched the what was that, Tiger King, that thing on Netflix, that show, what was the guy's name who had another tiger facility that was big as Joe's almost? With the guy with the ponytail, he practiced the harem, right? And down there, wherever he lived or wherever. And I'm pretty sure he felt comfortable doing it. I don't think the local authorities really gave him a problem. And he could probably verify that all of his participants, or females or girlfriends, whatever you want to call them, were of legal age, or maybe they were not, but who knows. So Amenhotep III kept his concubines in his palace at Malkata, which was one of the most opulent in the history of Egypt. The king was considered to be deserving of many women, as long as he cared for the great royal wife as well. So as long as he remembered who the number one was, he could have as many as he wanted. That's crazy. So just a little bit of an example to show you that in certain places, in certain times, this was accepted, and it said nothing about verifying that the females were certain ages, or you know, if you really study more, because I've read into some of this myself, there was the belief that being with procreating or whatever with a younger female, the king, right, the pharaohs, all this kind of stuff, believed that the younger ones were of greater quality, that they would bear stronger children, all this kind of stuff. And these aren't you can go find this. This is down in the word. This is written. This is online. You can find it. And so it's not crazy to believe that there are certain people who might think this way, might believe this way now. And let's read again about Soylent Green. It says here, a part of, where is it? With the help of furniture, has it in quotations, Cheryl. So Cheryl in the movie, I'm gonna watch this movie for sure. Cheryl is referred to as furniture, which means that the elite person who has given her out to the detective to help her solve this crime. The movie's about a crime or whatever. There's a murder that's happened, and so a rich elite has been killed, and I guess Cheryl was his furniture. So now she's helping this detective try and find out who killed him. And so in the movie, like, I mean, this is the director, the person that produced this movie. It wasn't like they were just working off of complete fiction. You know, they did research on these ideas and these things, that certain things like this might have happened, and then decided to create a story on an idea that was accepted at a certain time. You understand what I'm saying? It was accepted at a certain time, and certain people accepted it. And so now you got certain people today that may or may not still accept it, and they may or may not be the leaders of corporations that are really running things in the world when you think about it. Because Wayfair, you know, to the vast majority, can come out on the media and refute the claims and say, yeah, it's a hoax, it's not real, and you know, there's a reason that all the furniture has female names, and most, I mean, yeah, it's true. Most of the females that were reported missing, that you could go look up on whatever site or whatever, did, in fact, they were found, or were found later on, or some of them are still missing, but most of them are found. So they're trying to use all this information to kind of create smoke. And, you know, again, I'm not myself personally not saying that it's true, but after looking into the Pornhub thing, after just, you know, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I really, like, I don't trust, I guess, the motives of people who have copious amounts of money and can do anything that they want, really, right? They run corporations, they run businesses that you can't get into to see how they really, like, it's any business could be a front. And even when they're discovered, have you seen Steve Conine be arrested or go to jail? Have you seen the other guy, Shaw, go to jail? Is there investigations into them now? There might be later. You might see reports now that, the FBI is suddenly investigating Wayfair and things like this. But yeah, I mean, just really try and look through the smoke, guys. Try and look through the information and be aware of what's going on, because now this is another claim about child trafficking, a child trafficking ring, involving the biggest companies, involving Wayfair, Amazon, and again, I don't certainly when you think about the mentality of these people, the way that they think, if they are doing what they're doing. Either they believe what they're doing is not wrong or not evil because they're practicing a certain practiced traditional whatever you want to call it, or they just don't give a fuck because my bad. They don't care because they know that they have all the legal clout, all the money, all the power, essentially, to hide themselves, to shroud themselves in smoke, to do what they like, to maybe fake their deaths. In the case of Jeffrey Epstein, and if you watched the documentary about him, I mean, I'm not going to go too much into him because this is a different topic. It talked about the amount of power and influence that he had on people, just by his presence alone, by the way that he thought, and the money that he was able to attain, and the control that he had over people who had tremendous amounts of money. The fact that he was able to build an island, and then he had all these people coming to and visiting his island. There's different people, different public figures getting onto Instagram and social media now, Twitter, saying that we haven't even heard yet about all of our different favorite personalities and high profile artists and whatever who have been to this island, who've been engaging in certain acts that we don't know if it's true or not. Until people really see something come out on CNN or one of the biggest news networks saying that, oh yeah, for sure, without fucking doubt, this company has been caught trafficking children, or caught in a sex ring, or caught doing this or that, I think the vast majority of people are still going to be calling it, conspiracy theories, calling it whatever it is, not really believing. But again, one of my main themes that I like to talk about is change, being aware of certain things that are going on, because now you look at life, a lot of people want to say that the cashless society thing is a conspiracy theory, that they're not getting rid of cash, just stop worrying and blah blah blah, this and that. I don't know, right? I'm not saying anything for certain, but I'm saying that look at how suddenly these changes happened. Look at, somebody else was telling me yesterday, they were curious about the speed of all this plexiglass and things being able to be put up, constructed so fast, and yet these materials, they had no issue getting across and being delivered in time, and other certain products, you can't get them, they're in shortage. Even now you go to the store, something might be out, but you'll see that at every single store, at every single place, they had the plexiglass ready. And yeah, it's crazy stuff, man, to be speaking about. But again, the main topic of today is just talking about the Wayfair Scandal, bringing attention to it, trying to get people to kind of, I guess, look into it more, because before this happened, imagine that Wayfair was comfortable. Nobody was really, the people that knew what was going on were making their purchases and getting their furniture, quotation, delivered to their houses and things like this. Imagine that now they suddenly have a reason to be watching themselves more. They suddenly have a reason to be keeping a tight lip on what's going on in the company, to not really be releasing information. And there were reports that the CEO, that Niraj Shah, actually stepped down, but I guess now they're saying that he is running things still. But I wouldn't be surprised if he did step down, because how many other CEOs aren't running their companies right now, have effectively stepped down to be behind the scenes, to do things that we really don't know about, right? That most people don't care about. But then for the people who care about the fact that there are, children being trafficked and certain things happening, that the elites or whatever are running some kind of scheme with this coronavirus and Black Lives Matter movement and defund the police and whatever. For myself, I'll tell you that I really think that there's, a bigger picture, that something is going on. And I certainly think that it's better to think that way, again, because you don't want to be taken by surprise with something that does happen. And then you're thinking like, oh shit. Like imagine this is crazy. We never knew, or we always thought it wasn't real or whatever. Like just be aware, be willing to look into the information, just take time to sit, think, and be objective for some time in your day going into this weekend. And I think that's where I'm gonna leave you. I was gonna read something again off about this movie, but it's kind of it's like giving away the biggest piece, basically. So anybody who's interested, you're gonna have to go and watch Swirling Green and see what that's all about. But yeah, man, I'll talk to you guys later.